Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurates 1.75 lakh houses built under Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana Grameen in Madhya Pradesh today. PM highlights the significant role played by the scheme in changing the lives of rural women. Prime Minister Modi calls for strengthening of poor to end poverty. Also says Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana is being aimed at empowering the poor. External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar addresses Doha Conference on Afghan peace today, reiterates the process must be Afghan-led and Afghan-owned and Afghan-controlled, also expresses confidence on continuous growth of relationship between the countries. Delhi Metro becomes fully operational today. All lines operate from 6 a.m. to 11 p.m. Airport Metro resumes its services as well. Indian Railways to run additional 40 pairs of special trains from today. Booking for these trains started 2 days earlier. US President Donald Trump announces Israel-Bahrain deal to establish full diplomatic ties and calls the development a historic breakthrough to further peace in the Middle East. Dominic Thiem reaches his first US Open final, becomes the first Austrian to reach a singles final in Flushing Meadows. He will face Alexander Zverev in the finals. Good afternoon and welcome to this bulletin. I'm Shubhendu Ghosh. Prime Minister Narendra Modi today participated in the inauguration of Grah Pravesh ceremony of 1,75,000 houses in Madhya Pradesh through video conferencing. These houses built under Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana Grameen. Madhya Pradesh Chief Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan also participated in the event. A film on Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana Grameen was also screened on the occasion. PM had given a clarion call of housing for all by 2022, for which a flagship program of Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana Grameen was launched on 20th November 2016. So far, 1 crore 14 lakh houses have already been built across the country under this program. During the event, Prime Minister Modi interacted with PM Awas Yojana beneficiaries. While referring to housing schemes of previous governments, Prime Minister said, many problems were seen in the previous schemes, which have been rectified this time. He said selection of beneficiary was done in a transparent manner.
पहले गरीब सरकार के पीछे दौड़ता था, सिफारिश के लिए ढूंढता था लोगों को। आज हमारी योजना ऐसी है कि सरकार को लोगों के पास जाना होता है, खोजना होता है और सुविधा देनी होती है। अब किसी की इच्छा के अनुसार लिस्ट में नाम न जोड़ा जा सकता है न घटाया जा सकता है। चयन से लेकर के निर्माण तक वैज्ञानिक और पारदर्शी तरीका अपनाया जा रहा है।
Prime Minister said that the scheme is not just a plan to build a house, but to increase the confidence of the poor and defeat poverty through the scheme.
ये जो योजना है वो सिर्फ मकान बनाने की योजना नहीं है, बल्कि गरीब को आत्मविश्वास देने की योजना है, ताकि वो छोटी छोटी समस्याओं जैसे घर, बिजली, पानी, ईंधन, ये रोजमर्रा की जो जद्दोजहद है ना, उससे वो बाहर निकलकर अपने काम में, अपने भविष्य के लिए, अपनी प्रगति के लिए अपना पूरा ध्यान लगा सके। कड़ी परिश्रम के बाद जब रात को थका हुआ वो जब घर पहुंचे तो मेरा गरीब भाई चैन की नींद सो सके और अगले दिन फिर तारो ताजा होकर फिर काम से निकल पड़े। मैं समझता हूं कि गरीबी को पराजित करना है, गरीबी से बाहर निकलना है तो गरीब की ताकत बहुत बड़ी ताकत बन जाती है। और हमारी कोशिश यही है कि गरीबी से मुक्ति पाने का, गरीबी हटाने का सबसे बड़ा रास्ता है गरीब को ताकतवर बनाना, और उस रास्ते को हम आगे बढ़ा रहे हैं। और गरीब को अपनी लड़ाई लड़ने की जो ताकत मिल रही है, उसका परिणाम भी नजर आने लगा है।
And Prime Minister said that now not only the poor have homes, they also have facilities embedded along with the house, including water, LPG and electricity connections.
प्रधानमंत्री आवास योजना की एक बहुत बड़ी विशेषता है उसका इंद्रधनुषी स्वरूप। जैसे इंद्रधनुष में अलग अलग रंग होते हैं, वैसे ही प्रधानमंत्री आवास योजना के तहत बनने वाले घरों के भी अपने ही रंग है। अब गरीब को सिर्फ घर ही नहीं मिल रहा है, बल्कि घर के साथ साथ शौचालय भी मिल रहा है, उज्ज्वला का गैस कनेक्शन भी मिल रहा है, सौभाग्य योजना का बिजली कनेक्शन, उजाला का एलईडी बल्ब, पानी का कनेक्शन, सब कुछ घर के साथ ही मिल रहा है। यानी पीएम आवास योजना के आधार पर ही अनेक योजनाओं का लाभ लाभार्थी को सीधे मिले, ये देखा जा रहा है।
And Prime Minister Modi said that despite the challenges posed by COVID-19 pandemic, houses under PM Awas Yojana were constructed in just 45 to 60 days, which is a very good example of turning disaster into opportunity.
कोरोना के काल में तमाम रुकावटों के बीच भी देश भर में प्रधानमंत्री आवास योजना के तहत 18 लाख घरों का काम पूरा किया गया है। उसमें 1,75,000 घर अकेले मध्य प्रदेश में ही पूरे किए गए हैं। इस दौरान जिस गति से काम हुआ है, वो भी अपने आप में एक रिकॉर्ड है। सामान्य तौर पर प्रधानमंत्री आवास योजना के तहत एक घर बनाने में औसतन 125 दिन 125 दिन का समय लगता है। कोरोना के इस काल में पीएम आवास योजना के तहत घरों को बनाने में 125 दिन नहीं, सिर्फ 45 से 60 दिन में ही बनाकर तैयार कर दिया गया है। आपदा को अवसर में बदलने का ये बहुत ही उत्तम उदाहरण है।
And Prime Minister also said he is satisfied that with PM Garib Kalyan Abhiyan, works worth about 23,000 crore rupees have been completed across many states of the country, including Madhya Pradesh.
पीएम गरीब कल्याण अभियान से मध्य प्रदेश सहित देश के अनेक राज्यों में करीब करीब 23,000 करोड़ रुपए के काम पूरे किए जा चुके हैं। इससे दो फायदे हुए हैं। एक तो शहरों से गांव लौटे लाखों श्रमिक साथियों को रोजगार उपलब्ध हुआ है, और दूसरा ईंट, सीमेंट, रेत और निर्माण से जुड़े दूसरे सामान का व्यापार कारोबार करते हैं, उनकी भी बिक्री हुई है। एक प्रकार से प्रधानमंत्री गरीब कल्याण रोजगार अभियान इस मुश्किल समय में गांव की अर्थव्यवस्था का भी बहुत बड़ा सहारा बनकर के उभरा है।
Moving on, some news coming in from Arunachal Pradesh. China today handed over 5 missing Arunachal youths. These individuals from Upper Subansiri district had inadvertently strayed across the LAC recently. Indian Army approached PLA on the hotline to trace and return them. On 8 September, response on the hotline confirmed that missing individuals had been traced. Indian Army took over all 5 individuals at Kibitu after completing all formalities. These individuals will now be quarantined for a period of 14 days as per COVID-19 protocols and will thereafter be handed over to their family members. Indian Army, true to its ethos, has once again worked tirelessly for the well-being of the people in the Northeast. And my colleague Sanjay Pratap Singh is joining us with more updates. Sanjay, if you could just give us the whole picture of what had happened when these 5 youngsters strayed over on the other side of the LAC and thereafter.
शिवेंदु, जैसा आप मेंशन कर रहे थे कि सबसे बड़ी राहत की खबर यही है कि किबितु में भारतीय सेना के इन 5 युवकों को हवाले कर दिया गया और उन्हें क्वारंटीन किया जाएगा 14 दिनों के लिए एज पर कोविड-19 प्रोटोकॉल। लेकिन पिछले हफ्ते ये घटना हुई थी। नाचो जो अपर सुबनसिरी का इलाका है वो बॉर्डर एरिया भी है और काफी डेंस फॉरेस्ट है। ट्रेडिशनली वहाँ जो कम्युनिटी रहती है उसके लोग टाउनशिप से कई बार ट्रेडिशनल हंटिंग के लिए या एडवेंचर के लिए फॉरेस्ट एरिया में जाते हैं, लेकिन चूंकि वो फॉरेस्ट एरिया है तो एक तरह का एक भ्रम रहता है, एक कंफ्यूजन रहता है। वो बॉर्डर एरिया अनजाने में क्रॉस कर गए। पिछली बार कुछ समय पहले भी ऐसी एक घटना हुई थी जिसमें एक युवक उधर बॉर्डर के पास चला गया था। उसके बाद भारत ने और चीनी सेना से भारतीय सेना अधिकारियों ने संपर्क किया, फिर छोड़ा गया। लगभग सेम सिचुएशन इस बार भी हुई, लेकिन इस बार चूंकि माहौल दूसरा था और इंडिया और चाइना के रिलेशन को लेकर जो टेंशन है उसके कारण इस तरह की चिंता पूरे अरुणाचल में थी कि कहीं ऐसा ना हो कि इन 5 युवकों को जो कि सिर्फ एडवेंचर में फॉरेस्ट की तरफ गए थे और बॉर्डर क्रॉस किया उन्होंने या उन्हें किडनैप कर लिया गया। तो उसके बाद ये चिंता थी और तमाम बयान यहाँ के राजनीतिक नेताओं ने भी दिए थे। यहाँ की जो लोकल कम्युनिटीज हैं उन्होंने भी अपील जारी की थी और प्रशासन की ओर से भी, राज्य सरकार की ओर से भी और ऑब्वियसली भारतीय सेना की ओर से भी ये बात बहुत जल्दी स्पष्ट कर दी गई थी कि जो भी प्रोटोकॉल है उसके तहत कार्रवाई की जा रही है। और हॉटलाइन संपर्क जिसकी चर्चा बार बार हुई है इस दौरान, वो उस दौरान ये एक एमिकेबल सॉल्यूशन निकाला गया और उन्हें जाहिर सी बात है कि ना तो वो कोई स्पाई थे, ना उन्होंने कोई डैमेज करने के इरादे से वहां प्रवेश किया था और एक बहुत स्वाभाविक मानवीय भूल थी, ह्यूमन एरर था, जिसे चाइना ने भी एक्सेप्ट किया और उन्हें हवाले कर दिया गया।
जी संजय, हमने दर्शकों को बताया कि कोविड-19 के प्रोटोकॉल्स के तहत उनको क्वारंटाइन किया गया है। संजय, ये अगर आप बता पाएं उनकी तबीयत कैसी है इस समय, स्वास्थ्य कैसा है उनका, इन 5 युवाओं का?
देखिए, हमें इनिशियली जो सेना के हवाले से सैनिक प्रवक्ता से बात हुई है, अभी बहुत इनिशियल रिपोर्ट है, वो पूरी तरह ठीक बताए गए हैं और जल्दी ही उनके बारे में एक डिटेल रिपोर्ट भी शायद जारी की जाएगी। हमने उनसे ये भी जानना चाहा कि उनकी लेटेस्ट तस्वीरें जिसमें वो आपने जो पूछा उनकी करंट पोजीशन में दिख रहे हो, तो वो भी शायद हमें सेना की ओर से शायद जारी की जाएंगी, तब इस बारे में और जानकारी आपको दी जा सकेगी।
चलिए संजय, धन्यवाद आपका इन सभी अपडेट्स के लिए। माय कॉलीग Sanjay giving us update on a news of relief coming in from Arunachal Pradesh. 5 youngsters who had gone missing from the LAC area. They had crossed the LAC inadvertently by mistake and they've not been returned safely by the PLA to the side of the LAC. Moving on, historic peace negotiations between the Taliban and elected Afghan government began this morning in Doha. The direct intra-Afghan talks are the next step after US-Taliban agreement on the withdrawal of US troops from the country. This is for the first time the Talibans are sitting across the table with the government and other delegates to discuss the future of the country. Negotiations to broker a comprehensive peace deal were anticipated in a troop withdrawal pact signed between the US and Taliban in February in an attempt to find a political settlement to end the war. The intra-Afghan talks were originally scheduled to begin on March 10th. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar also attended the conference on Afghan peace negotiations virtually. Speaking on the occasion, Dr. Jaishankar said that India respects national sovereignty and territorial integrity of Afghanistan. He also expressed confidence on the continuous growth of relationship between the countries.
Peace process must be Afghan-led, Afghan-owned, and Afghan-controlled. It has to respect national sovereignty and territorial integrity of Afghanistan. It should promote the values of human rights and democracy that can foster development. The interests of the minorities, women, and vulnerable must be ensured. And most important, the issue of violence across the country and its neighborhood has to be effectively addressed. The rising levels of violence cannot be allowed to continue, and like others, we support an immediate, comprehensive ceasefire. Our friendship with Afghanistan is strong and unshakable. We have always been good neighbors and will always be so.
And my colleague Abhishek Jha is joining us with more updates on this story. Abhishek, the Doha talks are pegged as crucial for peace and stability, not just in Afghanistan, but also the entire region. Help us understand the importance of it and India's specific stake in it. Abhishek.
Okay, so Shubhendu, this war-torn country for like over 4 decades there, Afghanistan people have been seeing this warring factions, the warlords, the violence, and invasion by countries like initially it happened from Russian side. Then US forces came and they, in the name of fighting Taliban, there has been only bloodshed. With only the Afghanistan people have suffered. So it was a welcome step that most of the countries who had a stake in Afghanistan, including India, had appreciated that at least the two warring factions and the world have realized that there cannot be any solution to this whole violence thing unless and until these two sides join each other, they negotiate a term of power sharing arrangement so that this whole violence, bloodshed, and this halla bolo in Afghanistan could be put to put an end. And this negotiation, it has not happened just overnight. It has taken months of background meetings and level 2, level 3 talks when the warlords of Afghanistan and the US peace negotiation representative Zalmi Khalilzad, the Pakistani government, all of them had their role in it. Russia, India, China, and the neighboring countries of Afghanistan, Tajikistan, and other Central Asian countries, Iran for that matter. Everybody had a stake in a peaceful and stable Afghanistan, because the more unstable Afghanistan was, the migration of the people across the border from Afghanistan to other neighboring countries, that was a burden that Afghanistan was feeling, Iran was feeling. There have been so many reports of people fleeing Afghanistan and then being stopped at the borders, and the reports of violence or they're dead and inhuman treatment by the other neighboring countries' authorities. So this all had to be put an end, and mostly the world leaders believe that there could be no other way to put an end to this other than bringing the two warring factions onto a negotiating table and let them
just broadly, how do we understand the concept of power sharing between the conventional elected government of Afghanistan and the Taliban, which so far many countries were fighting a war against, including America?
It's quite interesting, Shubhendu, because the world itself have fought war against the Taliban, which was mostly alleged to have created this modern-day terrorism across the globe. Once a time, only 2 days ago, we had this observation of 9/11 attack in USA, which the Taliban and Al-Qaeda nexus had created. So this whole network of terrorists that we see across the globe has had some certain roots and linkages with Taliban in the past. But again, since for like 17, 20 years, the world and the different countries, NATO, USA, sometimes back to Russia, they have all tried to make a stable Afghanistan in terms of their own definition. But there are certain intrinsic characters of Afghanistan. There are warring lords there. Then there are minorities and ethnic groups who don't come to a negotiating table. They don't believe in this democratic setup that the West regards as a democratic setup. They have their own ethics and their own set of rulings and tradition through which they want to be governed. Maybe those considerations will have to be taken into account while this negotiation will be going on. Interesting will be the fact that the Taliban, who has been behind this all bloodshed and violence and terrorist activities in this region, including India, will be part of this Afghan government, which in fact very hesitantly has agreed to come to this negotiating table. Before it had to release so many Taliban prisoners. That was also criticized, but then the world decided, the world leader advised the Afghan government to go ahead with this. One can only hope that the next week, when on Monday, this whole formal negotiation starts, there would be some positive outcome for the people of Afghanistan at last.
Right, we'll have to wait and watch what comes out of these crucial Doha talks. Thanks very much, Abhishek, for joining us with those inputs. Moving on, Delhi Metro today resumed its full services with Airport Express Line reopening after over 5 months due to COVID-19 pandemic. All corridors of the metro network are now in operation. Timing of services will follow the pre-COVID schedule of 6 a.m. in the morning to 11 p.m. in the night. The frequency of trains during the non-peak hours will be the same as peak hours so that people follow staggered timings for their journey and still are able to avail metro services. DMRC has appealed to people to use rapid transport only if urgently needed. Metro services were closed on March 22nd to contain the spread of novel coronavirus. Metro services will commence on 8 a.m. On Sundays from September 20th from all such sections which had this practice in vogue before the lockdown as well. However, metro operations will start at 6 a.m. this Sunday to facilitate students for NEET examinations. And in a bid to cater to the increasing demands, Indian Railways is operating 40 pairs of additional special trains on specific routes from today. Reservation for these trains have already begun on September 10th. The trains will be fully reserved, and in addition to special trains that are already under operation, the composition and route of these trains will be as per the existing regular trains. These trains will have both AC and non-AC classes, general coach with reserved seats. There will be no unreserved coaches. 4 pairs of these trains will operate in the Northeast Frontier Railway area. At present, 230 special passenger trains are running, connecting different cities of the country by following necessary COVID-19 guidelines. Of the 230 special trains, 15 pairs of passenger special AC trains are being run since May 12th, while 100 pairs started operating from June 1st. Ahead of the assembly elections in Bihar, BJP Chief JP Nadda today addressed party workers in Patna, inaugurating Atmanirbhar Bihar Abhiyan in Patna to give a boost to PM's dream of making a self-reliant India. He urged people to take advantage of Atmanirbhar Bharat initiative.
मोदी जी ने कॉन्सेप्ट बनाया कि अगर हमारे लोग आत्मनिर्भरता की ओर चलते हैं और जो हमारे में उद्यम की ताकत है तो हम इसका उपयोग क्यों न करें और उनको हम क्यों न सहायता दें। इसलिए 1 लाख करोड़ रुपए एग्रीकल्चर सेक्टर को, 3 लाख करोड़ रुपए एमएसएमई सेक्टर को, 10,000 करोड़ रुपए हमारे रेडी वालों के लिए, उसी तरीके से 20,000 करोड़ रुपए हमारे उत्पाद की क्वालिटी को बढ़ाने के लिए, ये सबका हमको उपयोग करना है।
The results for JEE Mains 2020 was announced on Friday with 24 students scoring 100 percentile in the engineering entrance examination. The ranks of the candidates have been decided taking into consideration better of the 2 NTA scores of all candidates who appeared in the JEE Main January and September 2020 exams. The exam was conducted from September 1st to 6th amid stringent precautions and social distancing measures in view of COVID-19 pandemic. Meanwhile, Education Minister Ramesh Pokhriyal Nishank he tweeted and said, congratulations to the toppers of JEE exams. He also thanked everyone involved in the JEE examination for declaring results in 4 days. In a tweet message, the Education Minister said, this is the testimony to the spirit of cooperative federalism and young Atmanirbhar Bharat under PM Modi's leadership. Despite the odds, we prove ourselves. Based on the results of the JEE main examination, the top 2.45 lakh candidates will be eligible to appear for the JEE Advanced exam, which is a one-stop exam to get admission to the 23 Premier Indian Institute of Technology. JEE Advanced is scheduled to take place on September 27th. In a major relief to the elderly persons, government has relaxed the existing timeline for submission of life certificate. All central government pensioners can submit life certificate from 1st November 2020 to 31st December 2020. Earlier, this used to be only for the month of November. for maintaining continuity of pensions. However, pensioners in the age group of 80 years and above can now submit life certificate from 1st October 2020 to 31st December 2020, that's end of the year. During this extended period, the pension will be continued to be paid by the pension disbursing authorities uninterrupted. And Minister of State for Personnel, Public Grievances and Pensions, Dr. Jitendra Singh said decision was taken in view of the ongoing pandemic and vulnerability of the elderly population to coronavirus. In addition to it, pension disbursing banks have also been asked to explore the methodology for obtaining a life certificate from pensioner to the extent permitted by RBI guidelines in order to avoid a rush at the branches. Let us now take a look at the update on COVID-19 data from across the country. India has been continuously reporting high number of recoveries from COVID every day. 81,533 recoveries have been recorded just yesterday, taking the cumulative total of recovered patients to 36,24,196. Now, with this, the recovery rate currently stands at 77.77%. India's three-pronged strategy of test, trace and treat is proving to be a success. The fatality rate has dropped to 1.66%. The number of active COVID-19 cases in India stands at 9,58,316, which is just over 20% of the total cases reported so far. Also, the gap between the percentage recovered cases and the percentage active cases has been progressively growing wide. According to Health Ministry, more than 3/4 of the total cases of recovered and discharged patients of COVID-19, while the active cases is less than 1/4 of the total reported cases. The centre-led COVID management strategies have focused on early detection through widespread, easy and aggressive testing. According to ICMR latest data, 10,91,251 people have been tested in a single day. Yesterday, the total number of people tested so far stand at 5,51,89,226 in India. Let's look at some sports news now. Dominic Thiem reaches his first US Open final, becomes the first Austrian to reach singles final in Flushing Meadows. He beat Daniil Medvedev 6-2, 7-6, 7-6. He will face Alexander Zverev in the finals now. And earlier, Alexander Zverev completed a stunning comeback in the US Open semi-finals to beat Pablo Carreño Busta 3-6, 2-6, 6-3, 6-4, 6-3 to reach the median Grand Slam finals. Seeded fifth, Zverev fights back to beat Pablo Carreño Busta in 5 sets. Busta wins the first 2 sets 6-3, 6-2 as Zverev struggled with his form. But Zverev takes next 3 sets 6-3, 6-4, 6-3 in topsy-turvy semi-finals. With this win, he also becomes the youngest Grand Slam finalist since Djokovic at the 2010 US Open. And with that, we conclude this bulletin. News and updates continue after a short break. Namaskar.